This is disappointing news for individuals who are waiting for this game. Cyberpunk 2077 has been delayed again, and I know there's many individuals who are upset about it. Some individuals are saying that, you know, they don't care about the developer anymore. But so there's mixed emotions because the game keeps getting pushed. So Daniela, thoughts on that, and then we'll open it up.
For me personally, I waited 8 years, just over 8 years. The waiting this last year feels like nothing. Like, okay, do I want to play? Yeah, of course. Am I a little bit disappointed that it's being delayed again? Of course. But I mean, I'm not going to be mad about it. I'm not going to send death threats to people who have no control whether it can be released or not. But I think at this point for sure, especially since they recently announced that they went gold, a week and a half ago or so now?
Yep.
That if they have to delay it an extra 3 weeks, something must have been found that was going to greatly hurt them. That's how I feel. It's like there had to be a bug in there, an issue that they found that's just like, no, if we launch this and they come across this can make and break us. That they made that hard decision of like, we will delay it 3 more weeks to avoid that. We will take the backlash of that rather than the backlash of whatever would possibly harm or interrupt the gameplay of somebody's experience.
Right.
Not that was confirmed or anything like that. That is my assumptions. That's what I would think would lead to this decision.
So it says, a quote here, we've decided to move the release date of Cyberpunk 2077 by 21 days. The new release date is the 10th of December. And then basically, most likely there are many emotions and questions in your head. So first and foremost, please accept our humble apologies. And it goes into different things as far as like what was technically, but they don't really share as much because from what I've gathered from this, even the individuals working on the game were kind of surprised that this announcement came about. So they found out almost around the same time that we found out. So it's like, do we get upset or do we just wait till the game comes out? The game is going to have bugs anyway. So it's like, do we continue to be mad at the company that they believe they're trying their best to put a great product out without that many bugs in the beginning? Because they're going to have bugs, right?
Yep. There's going to be a day one patch.
Right. They're going to have bugs. Or do we just ride it out? So I think that has been the conversation surrounding, I guess, what I've been seeing on the internet, where individuals are going to be extremely upset about this, or they're just going to wait it out. So the other thing that was interesting to me also is, as I was thinking about other companies that have delays or anything like that, I was thinking about Nintendo. I don't know why Nintendo came to mind, but to me, and I guess I definitely want to hear your thoughts on this, when Nintendo has a game coming out and the game is going to be delayed, the delays are few and far in between, but when they're making a game, we wait a very, very long time before Nintendo releases a game. So I don't know why Nintendo came to mind. So I definitely want to hear your thoughts on that as it relates to companies that just wait a long time, and when the game is ready, they release it, versus companies that will say, hey, we have this delays until the game is ready.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with pressure from higher ups, the people who care about the money of things. I'm putting it out there. And plus, with as much hype and just like the way that everything blew up when they did announce it, at least for Cyberpunk, that's a huge factor because now they have like this huge expectations of them. People want this, people have put so much money, time, and everything into it to wanting to play their game. So I think there's that weird pressure where Nintendo, I feel like they've always been in their own world and they will tease stuff, but I like that they never really give a solid like date. They
Right.
never really give you an idea. Just like, here's this, you'll get it when it's ready.
Right.
And like,
Exactly.
but the thing is I think because of that, because they never add on that additional pressure of like, oh, they say 2021, it's going to be out in 2021. It's this. But I think when they give those dates, they've always stuck with it, and they have such a good history about, you know, just like when you say you're going to come out with this is what's going to happen. This is what you're going to be expected. And they just, I feel like they have almost a different standard for themselves.
Yep.
Like they do not announce any hard set dates until they are pretty set. Like, yeah, we can meet that, we can exceed that, and we're good to go. We're on track.
Yeah, they
I
stick
just
out for me. Any other companies stick out for you when it comes to that stuff like that?
no, not really,
Right.
not really at all.
And
Like,
I'm wondering if that's a good or bad thing, because that's the only company that I thought about when I started seeing additional delays for different things.
I'm
Interesting.
sure they've come out with some delays somewhere along the lines. And you know what? This year, I kind of almost expected any game that was going to be announced or was expected to release this year to be just delayed. I think
Right.
I just assumed once everybody and they enacted that whole remote working and everything like that across the board for so many people, like I felt like any game that was planned for the second half of 2021 was just going to be pushed back and delayed. I'm amazed that any games actually met their dates
Right.
and did really well and was able to accomplish that, which is great for them. But I just can't. I just like once like I think March rolled around and
Right.
that first announcement of Cyberpunk's delay, then I'm like, you know what? I don't expect any game to come out on time. I don't even expect any games that are slated for 2021 to come out on time,
Interesting. Okay.
because that is really hard to put that on people. Like, I the way that people are angry. First of all, 2020 has been a crapshoot of a year.
That's
And
the
I think
truth.
people are just trying to find place to put their anger towards it. Like I
That's
know
the
in the
truth, and that's
past,
an understatement. Yeah.
I think in the past, yes, during delays there have been people who are angry. But nothing to this level where you have these developers now coming out like death threats. No, that is not appropriate. All these messages, all these hate messages coming out. Like I'm sure there have been, but not to this amount of force, this conviction that people have behind it until this year. And I think it's just because so much has happened to us. So much has gone on this year that like some people are just like putting their anger towards anything and everything that they can, because we've been holed up at home. We've been struggling through this year. This
True.
is such an awkward year for us to be going through, that there's just so much fuel behind that. So when you have something that you are so looking forward to, you're originally looking forward to it in April,
Right.
get pushed back like how many times did it
Half
delay?
a
Four or
year.
five times? Yeah, they delayed several times.
Right.
Just like, come on. Does not justify what those people are doing at all. That is
Right.
absolutely ridiculous. Um,
How would
but I
you
think that's
would you
definitely
have rather
adding fuel to
found
the
out?
fire.
Would you have rather found out like when they thought they were going to make the announcement, or how would you want to get that news that they were going to delay it again?
I was fine with the way that they put it out. But
So
I
okay,
guess
so
the point,
let me
stop
add
putting
it
a
to my
date on
question.
things. Just
Let
stop
me
putting a date.
Right. So let me add clarity to my question. If you were working for them and you were working on the game, how would you want that information to get to you? With
I think
everybody
as a
else getting it?
team, I think as a
Okay.
team meeting, I don't think that if you're working on the game, you're working for the studio, that you should find out what the rest of the world does. So there should
Gotcha.
be like a team meeting, maybe a send all, like all team member email or something like that,
Right.
that went out like this is what's going to be happening.
Right.
But
Right. Yeah. It's just weird. It's just weird. But I'm still excited for the game, but here's what this means though, right? So because we're not going to see that until December, now we have a good portion, a greater window to play other games that we wanted to catch up on, right?
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
You're right. That's right. I know you're pretty hyped about that. So now you have other games that you have on the calendar, whether that's, COD, or whether that's, Destiny stuff, whether that's even Genshin Impact that's been catching my attention a little bit. So there's other games that you can have access to and enjoy more time with before, if you're looking forward to this title. Cyberpunk. So, any final thoughts on this?
No, I do know a couple of people who are just so over it already that they canceled their pre-orders.
Interesting.
I think
Okay.
that is a more understandable way to retaliate and be upset about it than, angry messages. It speaks a lot better if you talk with your money rather
Right.
than with your words.
All right. So, do you think they're going to get the game anyway?
I think eventually they will.
Okay.
I don't think they're completely just like boycotting it, but it's just kind of like, you know what? You're not going to get the full dollar amount. I will buy it used. I'll buy it on sale later on. I'll probably play it, but there's no way you're going to get the full amount from me.
Gotcha.
I think that's the tire attitude.